Chapter 4 of Kenobi just dropped, and there are quite a few interesting details to break down, so let's get straight into it. Following Kenobi's last encounter with Vader, the old Jedi has sustained some pretty serious injuries, and the entire scene very much mirrors Anakin's situation in the aftermath of Mustafar, both sustaining burn injuries and forced to be placed inside a bacta tank. And the way the shots are set up, the audience is constantly reminded of these similarities, almost as if Kenobi is walking in the shoes of Anakin following their encounter on Mustafar. But while Kenobi's injuries are bad, the more serious injury is perhaps psychological, really just reflecting the state of Kenobi's character in the show, which is more about the psychological trauma that he is facing, which also is inhibiting his fighting abilities, something which as the episode goes on he works to overcome. Kenobi meets Rokan, the leader of a local rebel cell on Jabeam, and Rokan addresses Kenobi as General, recalling his days as a general of the Republic during the Clone Wars. It also just goes to show that there are still some who remember his service to the Republic. We get a brief mention of the T-47 speeders, which are light aircraft speeders designed to haul junk. This is of course the very same speeders used in Empire Strikes Back during the Battle of Hoth. These speeders were repurposed by the Rebellion for combat later on, something which is shown towards the end of the episode. Leia is interrogated by Reva and the planet Balnap is mentioned. Balnap is a temperate planet located in the Mid-Rim. The planet was first shown in the Clone Wars episode Nomad Droids featuring R2-D2 and C-3PO. As Tala infiltrates the Fortress Inquisitorius, you can notice in the background an Imperial dressed in a very unique uniform, not commonly seen in most Imperial bases. These guys are the Imperial ground crew tasked with managing the maintenance of Imperial crafts. It is also the same outfit that Jyn Erso wore during her infiltration of the Imperial base on Scarif. Tala goes through an Imperial security checkpoint and we can then see a few words in Arbesh, and it states Captain Tala Durith and then a whole bunch of letters, perhaps her Imperial code. As Tala infiltrates the fortress, Kenobi swims in from below, swimming past a shark, which we can also see in the game Fallen Order. Obi-Wan is also using a Jedi breathing device known as an Aquata breather. These are the same devices that first appeared in the Phantom Menace when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn were on Naboo, so it's a nice little callback. As Reva interrogates Leia, she attempts to use the Force to break into Leia's mind, but as we all know, this doesn't really work, especially with those strong in the Force, like how Kylo failed to break into Rey's mind. Then Leia absolutely ends Reva's career by saying,
"Is this a stare contest?"
Not much to break down here except for Reva's own self-esteem. Kenobi sneaks past a Seeker droid. Seeker droids, not to be confused with probe droids, are essentially smaller versions used for scouting and spying missions. Kenobi almost gets caught by a pair of stormtroopers, but reaching out with the Force he manages to lure them away, much like what he did during A New Hope when deactivating the tractor beams. As Kenobi ventures into the fortress, he stumbles on what is perhaps the most horrific scene to come out of this episode, and in this tomb we see many different faces, most of them presumably Jedi. The most recognizable one is the face of Tera Sinube. Tera Sinube was first introduced in the Clone Wars as a male Causian Jedi Master who served as the head investigator of the Jedi Order. Sinube would work alongside the likes of Ahsoka Tano after her lightsaber had been stolen, and could also be seen training younglings during Anakin's duel with Barriss Offee. And what's really notable about him is that he possesses a white lightsaber, which is essentially a red kyber crystal that has been purified. We also get to see a youngling entombed. This youngling has been credited as Jonathan and Oliver Ho in the credits, both of them identical twins. But since there has only been one youngling shown in this episode, I'm guessing this one character represents the both of them. As I'm actually editing this video, I just realized that I missed one of the more recognizable Jedis, and if you look on the right hand side over here, you will find Jedi Master Coleman Kaj. Now, Jedi Master Coleman is an Ongri male who was once part of the Jedi Council before Order 66. The Jedi Master presided over the trial of Ahsoka Tano and can be seen seated next to Anakin following his appointment to the Jedi Council by Palpatine. The Jedi Master was briefly mentioned in the comics as well, appearing on a list of Jedi who survived Order 66, but I guess that didn't last very long. Obi-Wan manages to rescue Leia, and throughout their escape, he progressively gets better at handling the lightsaber, almost as if he's slowly shaking off the rust and rebuilding his confidence. And if you pay close attention, when he first deflects the lasers from the first batch of stormtroopers, it takes him quite a while to get it right, but by the next batch he almost does it without looking. We then get to see Purge Troopers, which were first hinted at in the trailer. Purge Troopers were of course a special branch of stormtroopers under the command of the Inquisitors. They were tasked to support the Inquisitors in their hunt for the Jedi, and were often made of former clone troopers. A laser accidentally cracks the nearby glass and Kenobi is forced to hold back the pressure from the water, very similar to how Cal Kestis forced Vader to hold back the water while he made his escape. The group manages to get onto the platform but are then soon surrounded, that is until the T-47s sweep in to save the day. An angry Vader confronts Reva, and I really love how the camera movements reflect his state of mind. These shaky, uncontrolled movements really give you the sense of his rage radiating off the screen. Reva is able to save herself by telling Vader that she allowed them to escape and that by tracking them through Leia's droid they will be able to expose the whole system. This very much mirrors Grand Moff Tarkin's plan in A New Hope, allowing the rebels to escape with a tracking device on the ship so that the Empire will be brought to the location of the rebel base. So that was the breakdown of Chapter 4 of the Kenobi show. It honestly wasn't my favorite episode and was largely very straightforward, but with 2 more episodes to go, I am really hoping that they will ramp up the stakes for an exciting finale. Anyways, that's all for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.